Alright, we've got the table standing up. It's looking pretty good. Looks pretty even. It is a ½ an inch high on one side, and what we'll do is when we cut the legs flush, we're going to cut this side that's longer ½ an inch shorter, and that will bring the table back to level. But what we need to do now is we need to put the supports in place. So we need to measure for those, and I'll show you how we do that. We don't want to measure across the legs at the bottom because they are probably not holding straight. The support for the outer legs needs to be as wide as they are up top here. So the support here needs to be just shy of 9 inches. So it's going to be 8 7/8. So I'll take my board, decide which side I want to cut on it. 8 7/8 is done. That way is going to be right in the middle of the knot. So I'm going to come from the other way. 8 7/8. The other is going to be what we measured for the dowel. It's going to be the same as the dowel length, which is, remember, 7 3/16. So we take our other board, 7 3/16, but I got to clean up the ends because this board was actually a glue up. So I will cut that, and then we'll be able to get ready to attach them. Okay, I'm going to cut the pocket holes for this piece, and because this piece is only ½ an inch thick, I've got to use a micro pocket hole jig. So to set this in place, I'm going to put 3 holes in this. Alright, so we've got it clamped back in place, and because it's a smaller hole, we need to use a different screw. Take the clamp off to get that. Now we can fit the cross pieces. Now what I did and I think it was a pretty good height, it worked out pretty well. I set it, I measured up on the leg 5 1/4 inches. Alright, so what we've got here is we've got the cross piece clamped in place on the shorter side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use a countersink bit to drill some holes for screws, because once we get it glued and screwed together, I'm going to plug the holes with plugs. All right, so I'm going to drill the first 2 holes with the clamps in place. Drive these screws in. Now we'll take the clamps off. And we'll drill the other 2 holes. Turn it around, we're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, we have a table. What I want to do is I want to level the legs while I'm remembering which side I have to level properly. So to do that, we need to cut, because this side is higher, right here. We need to cut an extra ½ an inch off of these legs. Okay, so the way I figured out that this has to work is I have to mark these ends and then use a straight edge between them, and that will get the angle correct. So what I'm going to do is I have this pencil here that I have sanded to the lead. So I'm just going to give it a quick sharpen, and then when I run the pencil there, it's going to be exactly even with the piece. This end, and we're going to mark this end. Then we're going to turn it around and do the same thing, only the opposite. This way we're cutting a ½ an inch deeper on that side, which is what we want. We only get one shot at this, so let's see how it goes. that wasn't good, but I believe we're going to have a table that stands and is level. It's a little wobbly this way, but we'll be able to fix that when we do our final fitting. Thank you for watching today's video. In the next video, we will be taking the table apart to do some final machining, the routing over of all the round edges on the top, and we will also be sanding it and getting it ready for finishing. The finishing needs to be done with the pieces all apart, and then we'll put it together and we'll have a nice wine table.